In three, two, and one. And hello again, everyone, and welcome to Iowa Everywhere. This is a special edition of The Hook. My name's Ken Miller. We're on Des Moines Sports Station, 106.3 KXNO, and going to talk a lot of Kentucky Derby with our friend Jason Loutsch, of course, the racing manager of the Albaugh Racing Stable. This will be, I guess, the fourth time they've run three on their own. They were part of Donegal with Patio Prado way back in the day when Patio Prado looked turning for home like he might find that hole, but it wasn't to be. And Jason Loutsch joins us as we take a look at his two Derby contenders and a look at the field in the 149th Kentucky Derby. Well, this is always the goal, Jason, and here you are with two and one on the outside looking in. If there is another defection, you would be the first horse. Cyclone Mission would be the first one to get in, which would be great. It's hard to root against Dale Robins or just think about him being on the outside looking in.
Right.
But Derby week's a little bit busier for you. How you handled it?
Oh man, it's been a real exciting. I tell you, ever since we won the Arkansas Derby, I think it's been the longest month of our racing career. It's just you're just walking on eggshells, want to put bubble wrap around the horses and just get them to this point. And we're getting close. We got a couple more days of training. Hope everything stays good. But the horses are doing good, and we just can't wait for our family and friends to get down here and experience this because, like I've told a lot of them coming for the first time. I don't expect this to happen maybe ever again. This is a rare occasion, and enjoy every minute of it because this game's really hard.
No, it really is. And for you guys to be in the spot you are, I've said it, over the last month on the radio. It's just remarkable because there was a time that you did have three in, and then all of a sudden, it took such an incredibly high amount of points. Jason, what's changed? Why did it? Because I can remember Derby's past. It was, you get 20, 25 points.
Oh,
You've got a
absolutely.
pretty good chance you're going to get in the starting gate. What's
Well,
changed?
well, a couple of things I think, Ken. The one is that we're having obviously the Japan and horses in now, so that you went from 20 spots to 18.
Yeah.
And I also think that we're giving points to fifth place now, and that those little points do add up. It might be a point or two, and that's the difference between from us getting in the Kentucky Derby and not. So I think those two contribute to a lot of the points.
Well, I want to go through the field with you. I just want to kind of pick your brain on what the week has been like and then what's it going to be like on the day. So I'm always one to believe that I want to watch a horse work out for the last time, the final prep. And we've got some of that video. Aiden, you can run Jace Road and Angel of Empire working together in company. I believe it was on the 29th. But are you one, Jason, that you can really tell when your horses, after watching them work, that they look like they're sitting on a good race?
Yeah, a lot of it comes. You get a lot of visually. You look at the workout and right away I thought wow, Angel had a tremendous workout. Was a little disappointed honestly in Jace's gallop out. I thought Quality Road. I thought he'd be really peaking going into the Derby and I was a little disappointed on his gallop out. But on the opposite end, I was probably as most excited as I've ever been on Angel. I just thought he had a tremendous work. Brad said the two works after we won the Arkansas Derby are probably his two best works he's had. So we're going in with cautiously optimistic that he's sitting on a big one. I'm sure you saw the gallop out on the workout. It was, they couldn't even pull him up. So it was just a tremendous work. And we know he wants to go a mile and a quarter. And now it's all dependent on the good Lord and see if we can get a good trip and, he doesn't get stopped on the way home.
Well, what you're watching on your screen now, that's Jace's Road on the inside. The yellow looks like a yellow and blue cap, and Angel of Empire going to range up alongside him at the top of the long Churchill down stretch, and they're going to come through the stretch together. So Angel of Empire, Jason, when did you start to believe, that this horse is potentially the horse that's going to lead you to the Roses? When did you start to think that this is a legitimate Derby threat?
Honestly, it was the first race of the year, or I can't remember the exact date, when he ran in I think it was the Smarty Jones at Oaklawn Park. I don't recall the exact date. He got second to victory formation, and it was a mile race at Oaklawn. It was a Derby point race, and I just thought he was we knew a mile was going to be too short for him, but the way he did it, the way he finished, and the way back to the way he galloped out, I was like, wow. And I talked to Brad after the race, and he said, "Hey, we're going a mile and eighth next time in Louisiana. We're going to send him to Louisiana along that long stretch because we know he wants to go further." And I was just so impressed with how he did everything that day. And I know we didn't win the race, but it was just a stepping stone. And I really started getting excited. And when we went to the Risen Star, I just had a tremendous amount optimism, going a mile and 1/8. I knew that's when the men separate, from the boys to the men. When you go from the mile 16th to a mile and 1/8, you really find out who the real Kentucky Derby contenders are. And I was really surprised that I think he was like 18-1 for a couple minutes to post and got bet down late. But I had tremendous amount of I didn't know we were going to win the race, but I knew he was going to run big just because I know he wants to run that far and he's going to be competitive. And Luis Saez gave him a great ride that day, and we were so fortunate enough to win the Risen Star. And Brad just did a tremendous job of giving him ample spacing into the Arkansas Derby. Then give him 5 weeks, and he just responded with a huge effort in the Arkansas Derby. And I just think he's a horse that continues to get better and better. And as you know, Ken, going in the Kentucky Derby, those are the horses that are very dangerous.
Indeed, they are. We just saw the gallop out. Angel of Empire kept going on. Jace's Road not pulled up, but certainly was falling behind Angel of Empire in the gallop out, which is very important for the eye as well. So, Angel of Empire, a Pennsylvania bred. Tell the story about how you came up, how you found him. I read it that you and your father-in-law, Dennis Albaugh, you guys are the ones, along with some trained eyes that accompany you. Pick out the horses, pick out the yearlings, but you thought that you maybe didn't have enough and you were going to stick around. And boy, that was fortunate that you decided to stay that extra couple of days.
This is a numbers game. You can't have enough quality colts going into their 2-year-old season if you want to try to hit the Derby trail. Injuries and some horses that you might think are really good but don't pan out. So it's a numbers game. And I just thought we were a couple of colts numbers wise short when we left the sale. And I asked Dennis if I could continue to work the sale on books 4 and 5. So, not this, I wasn't going to pay big dollars for anything, but just let me get a chance on a few more colts. And I just ran across his pedigree. I thought it was definitely a 2-turn pedigree with a classic Empire on top. And he was always a special horse to me just because he hurt us a little bit beating out this time in the Breeders' Cup. So I've always, I always had feelings for Classic Empire, and I'm like, maybe this horse will pay us back and give us something special. So, and boy, did he ever! He's, did I think that he was going to be a Derby horse when we bought him in book 5? Absolutely not. But that's why this game is so special, because you don't know. You can buy one for $10,000 or $1 million. It doesn't guarantee anything. And we just took our time with this horse, and Brad Cox has done a tremendous job developing him. We started him at Indiana Grand. I mean, everyone was kind of asking me, why do we do that? And, Brad Cox also started a horse that won the Kentucky Oaks at Indiana Grand. So it doesn't matter where you start, it's where you finish. And we just took our time with this horse, and I just hopefully get some racing luck, because I just think he's doing so good. And if he can just get the right trip, and I don't know what's going to entail. If there's going to be, everyone's saying there's no speed in this race. I just don't buy that in the Kentucky Derby
there will be.
Speed. Exactly. Yeah. So it's just if he gets the right trip, and I think I like our post a lot. When we sat down at the table yesterday, people were asking me where I wanted to be. And honestly, I wanted to be 10 and out for him, just because I think he can kind of break off and he doesn't get a bunch of horses on top of him. So I really like the post well.
Yeah, and he certainly looks like he's got the right running style for this race. So this will be the 4th time that the Albaugh Family Racing Stable has had horses in. So let's go to the other 3: J-Boy's Echo, Free Drop Billy, and Brody's Cause. All 3 of you liked your chances going in, but I'm guessing that this feels different with Angel of Empire, right? That this is a legitimate chance to wear the
this
roses.
Is anytime you come off winning a grade 1 prep as your last prep, you got to feel like you have a lot of confidence going in. I think there's five grade 1s preps before the Kentucky Derby, and I might be a little biased, but visually I thought it was the best looking prep before the Derby of any of the races. I just thought the way he did it and how he beat the field was just tremendous. And I just think that, like we talked before, you got to be going the right direction, and I really feel like he's got a little more in the tank, and I think as we stretch out a little bit farther, that he'll be continuing to run, and I just hope he can show his best stuff on Saturday.
Yeah, there are a lot of people back here rooting for you as well. I want to ask you about some of the other horses in the field. Obviously, you followed the trail with Cyclone Mischief for Jace, and then, of course, Angel of Empire. Your trainer, Brad Cox, one of the trainers, he's got a boatload of them. He's got 4 horses in the Derby.
Yeah.
Hit Show, who's a big price at 30-1, who was running at the end of the Wood Memorial, and Verifying. Verifying to me might be one of he drew inside it. Almost, does he have to go to the front? Does he have to go?
Yeah, I was thinking that Brad. I didn't ask Brad because it's kind of a touchy subject when you're talking about other horses, but I had a kind of feeling that when you draw the 1-2, that kind of forces your hands a little bit. I don't think that their camp is really happy with where Verifying drew. He's a very dangerous horse. Very good. I know Brad's very high in Verifying, and so he's going to have to leave the gate running, and hopefully he doesn't get caught in a major speed duel because he breaking from the 2-hole. You don't have much choice.
Two Phils is an interesting horse. He hasn't run since one of the minor preps along the way. It's actually a grade 3. The race has changed names so many different times, but it's run at Turfway Park just outside Cincinnati, but in the state of Kentucky. But nonetheless, Two Phils is an interesting horse. I think that he's going to be the one one of the ones I think is running late. What do you see when you look at Two Phils?
Yeah, I think he's definitely the wise guy horse on the backside. As I'm walking around the last couple of days. I think he's one of 3 horses that's won at Churchill Downs also. And I think he won as a 2-year-old stake.
Street Sense, yeah.
It's a Street Sense stake. So tremendous amount of respect for the horse. Yeah, we did run against him in the Risen Star, and we're fortunate enough to beat him. But he came back with a monster prep at the Jeff Ruby Stakes. And so another horse that's going the right way. He's very scary and legitimate chance to win the Kentucky Derby.
Confidence Game is taking a different way of approaching this race. He's not run since way back in February when at the Rebel in Arkansas at Oaklawn Park. Jace's Road matched up with him earlier in their career back when they were 2-year-olds. Keith DeSormo is a terrific trainer. What are your thoughts on Confidence Game?
Well, it's never been done in the history of the Kentucky Derby to have this long a layoff. I think it's 50-some days So God, the way the horse is training though, holy cow! Had a huge monster mile workout and then came back with a 5 furlongs and 58 or 9 this weekend. And the horse is doing tremendous. Honestly, they think a lot of him. If he's that good and can win the Kentucky Derby off that long a layoff, he's a special horse, and he might be. I mean, we just don't know. And so I think he's a horse that's going to try to go to the lead. He's got it coming from the inside, and I think he's obviously fresh. So I think he's going to show a lot of speed.
Tapit Trice won a race that you guys won, the Bluegrass, in his final prep. Tapit Trice just got up to win that day. Your thoughts on the Bluegrass winner?
Very, very talented horse. It's going to be interesting. I think I don't think they're probably happy with being on the inside just because he's not a fast breaker. So he's going to get covered up. He's going to have to work the best, a great trip and get a little lucky. But probably one of the most talented horses in the field. Definitely going to be the favorite in the Belmont, as you know. Tapit's in the Belmont. It's just a matter of how much traffic he can fight through but he's very, very talented and rightfully deserving second favorite.
King's Barn, one of the rarities, did not run as a 2-year-old, yet here he is. He's never lost. He's 3 for 3, including a win in the Louisiana Derby over in Jace's Road, who we brought up before. Lightly raced colt, didn't run as a 2-year-old, just the same kind of boat as Justify.
Yeah, he's really a scary horse because I think he can be one of the ones that gets that pocket trip because there's going to be speed inside of him, and he could sit right behind him in my opinion. And we don't really know how good he is yet. I think he's only ran 3 times, and the way he won the Louisiana Derby was very impressive. Everyone wants to say the times and the numbers weren't that good, but he did it. He didn't have to exert himself, and he won easy. So very dangerous horse. Very scared of him. Think he could get a great trip. Being only his 4th lifetime start is maybe the only knock on him.
Let's move to Mage, a horse that was running at the end, Forte and Mage in the Florida Derby. I knew nothing about Mage going into the race. I was impressed coming out of it, though. I was lightly raced, though, Jason.
Yeah, I think this will be his 4th start. Is that right, Cam?
Yep, 4th start.
4th start. That's asking a lot for a 3-year-old colt, and your 4th start to be in the Kentucky Derby. Justify is about the only one that's ever been successful at it, but he's loaded with talent. He's had a little trouble leaving the gate in his last 2 starts. It's really caused him to have some difficulty. But if he leaves the gate running, there's no doubt with his breeding that he can get the distance, and he's going to be very dangerous. And on a side note, I don't know if you remember that his mom was owned by the Donegal Group, Jerry Crawford.
What was the mom? Who's the mare?
I think it's Puka.
Puka, yeah, I do remember Puka. One of the few fillies they had.
Yeah. So on a side note, that's pretty cool that Jerry. Yeah, so.
I did not realize that.
Yeah, so I know that's so that would be a half brother to Puka is a half brother to who's the horse that won all the grade ones for him.
Oh, the turf horse?
The one the bluegrass, and then one that ran the Derby. I can't remember.
Doulahan?
Yeah, Doolan. Yeah, there you go.
Doulahan. Yeah,
Yeah.
good. Skinner's an interesting horse. Skinner was on the outside looking in, the same spot you guys were in prior to the draw. He was 21, Cyclo Mischief 22. There was a defection. Skinner gets in. You guys move up here. You're the next one in, should there be one. This is a horse, Jason, that's starting to really come around. Didn't show much as a 2-year-old, but seems to have figured it out.
Yeah, after the Santa Anita Derby, when he was on the outfalls, was as far as getting in the Kentucky Derby, I said that's one horse that if he gets in the field, I'm scared of, because his breeding, as you know, Ken, Curlins, they're bred to get the distance. He's a horse that's lightly raced, can continue to get. It's one of those horses that's peaking, getting better, and it's very, very scary. Him and Disarm are the two horses that scare the heck out of me as far as.
Really?
Yeah, Disarm is actually if you look at it, all the workouts that I've been on the backside, he's the horse that's really scary. He's training like a monster. He's had 2 works back since he just ran in Lexington in 59. He worked in 59, and it's just been doing it. They're throwing all the cards in. Steve Ashton's trying everything, and it's a gun runner. It's very scary. He's loaded with talent. So he's a horse that you don't want to leave off your ticket. I can assure you that.
Yeah, interesting. Joel Rosario is going to ride. Now, if Cyclo Mischief gets in, I think Rosario was named on him. Who you would have to find somebody else, right?
Yeah. I don't know why that was named. I don't know if that was a mistake or what, but we'd have to find someone. Obviously our thinking is if we get in the race with Cyclone, that means another jockey's coming out of the race. So
sure.
So we'll wait to see who that is. We got a list of 2 or 3 names that we're talking about, and I really think in the next day or two that we're going to find out that Cyclone Mischief will be running the Kentucky Derby. There's a lot of rumors on the backside, so we'll just see. I don't wish it on anyone, so I don't like talking about it because it could be our horse. So if he gets in, great. I think the horse is doing good. He's tremendous. Been training tremendous. He's ran against the champion Forte the last 2 times, and he's been very competitive and right there. So I feel like he deserves a shot. And I'd love to have Dale Romans in the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, I would too. Just that's one of the guys that you root for, and certainly he's on that list. Real quick, practical move. Won the Santa Anita Derby. He's coming in on a 3-race winning streak, going back to last year when he won at Los Al, the futurity there. What are your thoughts on the Santa Anita Derby? What a practical move.
Very scary horse. He's one of those horses like King Barnes. I think he's set up with the perfect trip. And so it's very scary that because he's got enough speed to break away from there and sit behind the speed if the inside goes. And the only question I have with him, Ken, is can a practical joke get a 1.25 miles? That's the only thing. I know on the bottom side it says he can, but he's a horse that's obviously very, very talented, very, very good. And like you said, he's won 3 in a row. And much respect for him. And I think it's going to depend on if he can get the distance.
Forte is the favorite, the morning line favorite. He's won 6 or 7 in his lifetime. He's just a grand looking horse, just spectacular. Yeah. You saw him, as you mentioned a minute ago, Cyclo Mischief running behind him in the Fountain of Youth and in the Florida Derby. What impressed me in the Florida Derby is I thought he was beat. Excuse me. At the
no question. No question.
I thought this wasn't his day. Now, I don't know if that's just his big heart, his will to win. But maybe that race that didn't catch a lot of people's eye. A lot of people are thinking that negative. I went the other way. I thought, you know what, this wasn't his day, and he overcome it.
He overcame it. He got an unbelievable education, which I'm not sure that wasn't part of the plan. That they were obviously they broke from the 11 hole at Gulfstream, which is almost impossible to win from, and he had all kinds of trouble. Went wide, faced all that adversity, and still came home with a win. I mean, like you said, that last finish was remarkable to how he finished, and he's got the best trainer in America, Hall of Fame trainer, Todd Pletcher, the best jockey in the world, and Irad Ortiz. So the connections, the ownership, it's a strong. He's the one to beat. He's the 2-year-old champion. Right now he's won like 4 grade ones. Deservingly favorite. He's the one to beat. So we're breaking right next to him. Hopefully, we get first run at it.
2 more, and then I want to talk about your 2. Dummer Sorgati, the Japanese horse who. Japanese horses do not do well in the Kentucky Derby. This horse won the Dubai Derby in front-running fashion. He may be on the lead. In fact, I expect him. It's just different to watch how they train their horses. What have you seen out of Derma Sorogate?
It's you see a lot of them. I can tell you that they're on the
Yes, you
track
do.
they train way different than we do. They're on the track for about 90 minutes, which is just unbelievable. But God, he's it's hard because the numbers that come back from the UA Derby are by far the best of any prep that we've had here. They just tower over everything. So if he runs back to his numbers, he's going to be very, very tough to beat. And breaking from on the outside, maybe he'll get a good trip. I don't know with his speed. It's interesting. Mine and Biscuits getting a mile and a quarter, but on the bottom side, he is bred to go 2 turns. So it's hard to. It's like you said, it's very hard to tell how good he's doing because it's just the way they train. You can't really pick up on it.
No, it's tough. All right. Well, why is Bill Mott putting blinkers on Rocket Can? An equipment change right before the biggest race in the world. I mean, put
Yeah.
speed in the horse. He's working a hole in the wind. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I was just with Dale Romans about an hour ago, and I asked him about horses he saw, and he said he talked to Bill Mott, and Bill's very, very excited about the horse, the way he's been training. And if you've watched his works, he is training absolutely wonderful. I have the same question you do, and I've heard a lot of people in the media but I'm never going to question Bill Mott. So
He's a Hall of Famer.
he's the best. He's one of the best of all time. But I was, I think that they think there's an awful lot of talent in that horse, and I think they're just trying to keep him as focused as possible because they know there's more there, and they're going to try to get everything they can. And we ran against him in the Arkansas Derby, and I think that he was a favorite that day.
Yeah.
And he kind of was a little rowdy in the paddock, and I kind of felt like, oh wow, he's kind of lost the race before we started the way he was acting. So I don't know if they're really trying to keep him focused and trying something different, but it's definitely it's not a normal play for Bill Mott or anyone going to the Kentucky Derby to put blinkers on first time going to the Derby. But I think it's another horse that's going to show a lot of speed, and it might help us out.
All right, let's talk about your two. First of all, number 12, Jace's Road. What do you expect out of Jace's Road? How is he trained? Other than the gallop out didn't catch your eye the other day. How's he been?
Yeah, he's a horse that's when we brought him in as a 2-year-old, he's by far, if you ask me who our Derby horse was, it would have been Jace's Road. Came off the farm with tremendous amount of talent. Broke his maiden first time out, and he's just been a horse that's been inconsistent. He's by Quality Road. We know he can get the distance. So that's why we bought him. Quality Roads are known for getting a mile and a quarter, and so he's just going to have to really have his A game, put it all together to compete at this level. I think he can obviously get breaking from the 12 hole. I think he could get a good trip with all the speed inside of him if he can sit off it and relax. But that's a big question. So he's going to have to run his best race and really improve to compete at this level. But stranger things are happening. You can't win if you're not in the race.
That's true. That's for certain. Let's talk about Angel of Empire. He's 8-1, 8-1 in the morning line or 6-1.
Yeah, he's 8-1, third favorite. And that's kind of where I thought he'd be. He's 8-1, third favorite. When it came out, and so that's tremendous. I told Dennis, I said, coming from Iowa, buying these horses in 2012, and here we are 10 years later or whatever. We're the third favorite in the Kentucky Derby. I said, let's really enjoy this week. This is something to be really proud of and excited. Like I said, we might not win this race, but man, going in, it's really the very first time that other than when Patio Prado ran, that I really felt like, wow, if things go right, we got a big shot now. I think it'd just be so fun to when they turn from home, and if you just had a chance, because you can tell at the top of the lane if you have a chance or not.
Sure.
And I just would just love it so much if we can just get up and cheer like crazy. And we might come up short, but boy, what a thrill that would just be for us to experience coming down the stretch in the Kentucky Derby with just a little bit of hope.
And I think that's how it's going to unfold, but that's just me anyway. So this race goes off at 7:00 in Louisville, just before 7. I think 3 minutes before 7. Right. So how will you spend the day, Jason? You're not going to be able to sleep Friday, I would think.
No, I haven't slept for 2 weeks, Ken. Let's be honest. That morning show, thank God, it comes on at 6 a.m. in Iowa, and I go and get in my car and drive around and watch that at Churchill Downs. But yeah, it's been. It's been very stressful, obviously, but it's a good stress. I wouldn't change it for anything. And I just am trying to enjoy it. Like my wife said, just enjoy it. And you can't control it. It's out of your hands. Let's enjoy it and have fun. But like I said, I have about 20 of my best friends coming in on Thursday. And so and I told them Thursday and Friday are my fun days. I'm really going to enjoy it and hang out with you guys, and we're going to have a blast. And then Saturday, you might not see me as much. I'll be in and out, and I'll be nervous as could be. And my family comes. I'll be hanging out with my family and kids and really soaking it up. And And once we go over the backside around 5 o'clock and get prepared for the walkover, it's really going to hit me. But man, I just couldn't be more excited to be in this position. It's going to be a fun rest of the week, and I wouldn't trade for anything. I wouldn't trade spots with any other horse, to
Oh,
be
you
honest with you.
shouldn't.
And I wouldn't, and I wouldn't. And I'm not trying to be cocky. I just like our horse. I really do, and I like our position, and I love our trainer. He's just he's awesome, and he's just knows how to get your horses peaking at the right time.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Have you thought what it'd be like if you win?
I have. I can't lie. It's just mind-boggling to think that I've been watching, as like you have. We've been watching this race our whole life, right? And
Yeah.
to be in this position, it's been through my head, and I quickly think about it, then stop because it'd be an amazing accomplishment and feeling. And I just winning a Grade One Arkansas Derby. It was an
Sure.
unbelievable day. I can't imagine winning this thing. It'd be something that the state of Iowa would be so proud of, I
Yep.
hope.
Yeah, no, they definitely would. You got a big chance, no doubt about it. Jason, like you say, there's a whole bunch of people rooting for you and your family. It's a great story, and boy, oh boy, you're going to get it done one of these years. You've had great success, but if you get 3 in here, that is an unbelievable
Yeah.
accomplishment. Even 2, and to have a horse with a legitimate chance. There's so many people that I respect as handicappers that have Angel right on top of their sheets. So
Well,
we
I
shall see.
appreciate it, and thanks for your coverage. And let's get her done.
We'll talk to you on the radio on Friday. Thanks for doing this part of Iowa Everywhere as we take a look at the 149th Kentucky Derby. Of course, you can watch and wager on it at Prairie Meadows. Jason, good luck to you and your family. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.
Take care.